Hi, I'm Daniel, and I want to tell you a wonderful story how God answers our prayers. Prayer is when we tell God what's in our hearts. Let's listen to the story of Hannah, and I'll be back.
This story is about a woman named Hannah who really wanted to have a child. Every year, she would go with her husband to a place called Shiloh. While they were there would be a big festival, and everyone would celebrate all that God did for them. They would thank God for their crops and everything God gave them, and give sacrifices or presents to God to show how thankful they were. This sometimes made Hannah very sad because she wanted so badly to be thankful, but was discouraged because she couldn't have a child. That didn't mean Hannah moped around and felt sorry for herself, but in her heart, she was very sad. Her husband still loved her very much and tried to make her feel better, but nothing seemed to work. Finally, Hannah did the only thing she knew that she could do to help her situation. One evening, when they had finished eating and drinking, Hannah went to the temple and began to pray. When Hannah prayed, she was very honest with how she was feeling. She sometimes cried a lot and probably felt like God had forgotten her. But while she was praying, she promised God, "Dear God, if you would only look and see how sad I am and remember me, please give me a son. If you would do that for me, I will dedicate my son to you for his whole life." As Hannah was praying, there was a man named Eli, a priest, who was sitting nearby and saw her. While Hannah was praying, she was praying to herself. Her lips were moving, but Eli couldn't hear her say anything. Eli realized that Hannah was being very honest and truthful with God, and he said to her, "Go in peace, and may God answer your prayer." After that, Hannah left. She felt much better because she had talked to God about what bothered her. Early the next morning, she even went to worship God before she went home. But a while later, a great thing happened. God, of course, remembered Hannah because God doesn't forget any of us. And God gave her a son, and she named him Samuel. Hannah had waited so long for this child, and she loved him so much, but she remembered that she made a promise to God. Hannah was an honest woman, and when she made a promise, she meant it. Again, Hannah had a good attitude and wanted to give Samuel back to God. She wasn't mad at herself, and she didn't change her mind. Hannah kept her promise. When Samuel was old enough, she went back to the place where she prayed and said to Eli the priest, "Do you remember me? I am the woman that cried and prayed for this child, and God answered my prayer. Now I give him to the Lord, and I will leave him with you to learn and work with you." So Samuel lived with Eli, and every year Hannah would pack her suitcase and visit him and bring him new clothes. It might have been hard for Hannah to see Samuel only once a year, but she wanted to keep her promise to God. God blessed Hannah again and gave her and her husband even more sons and daughters.
Wasn't that a wonderful story? God hears our prayers. God cares what's in your heart. And here's good news. I don't know if you knew this or not, but did you know even as a child, you can pray? You can tell God what you're feeling. You can tell God what hurts your feelings. You can tell God the wonderful things you want to do in your life. Prayer is not for older people. It's for everybody. So guess what? Here is our chant for today. When I pray, that's what I'm saying. You're going to say, God hears me. So I'm going to say, when I pray, you're going to say, God hears me. So let's try it. When I pray, and make sure you always remember that every time you pray, God in heaven hears what's in your heart. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.